welcome back to my channel. Today we are sitting down and we are playing with the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Primrose palette. This baby, I have a story behind my purchase. Before we get started though, don't forget I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday for you guys. If you like this video while you're watching it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. And other than that, if you're excited and you want to see swatches and a look on this new stunning palette, then let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the ABH Primrose palette. I was not going to buy it. First, let me show you like the inside of the palette. So this is what we are working with. I did go ahead and use this once before. I'll explain, but this is what we're working with. Okay, let me explain. So when it was first announced on Trend Mood, I was not going to get this. I did not like it. I saw it and I was like, ABH, what are you doing? Like, the color story has been done before. The two blushes on the side, I didn't understand. I was like, why? Why do we need a face palette with an eyeshadow palette? Personally, I just don't love that concept. I would rather just reach for one of my single blushes and then an eyeshadow palette, if that makes sense. I don't like to combine the two. So when I first saw it, I was like, I just don't get it. Why not 4 more shadows in the place of those 2 blushes? So it wasn't on my radar at all. And then Stephanie from Babs Beauty did a video on it pretty much right away when it launched. I can have that link down below in case you want to check it out. And she honestly, spoiler alert, didn't really give it that glowing of a review. She kept saying that the mattes were super powdery, that the shimmers were really chunky and just had a ton of fallout on her face, and to definitely do your eyes first if you pick up this palette. She said she liked it, it was pretty, but it wasn't really like her new go-to or anything like that. But something about her using it in that video just really made me take a second glance at it. And I was like, I know she's not giving this that great of a review, and I really do trust her reviews and what she says about products, because she's like brutally honest, which I love. But when she was using it, I was like, I don't know. There was just something about seeing it in action applied to the eyes and all of her swatches and stuff that I was like, that's a really pretty palette. And then we got it in Ulta, the Ulta that I work, we got it in person. And I opened it up, and I am not kidding you, it was one of those moments where I saw it in person and I fell in love. Like, I fell hard for this palette. And even looking at it right now on my camera as I'm filming this, it doesn't look like anything special. It truly doesn't. The camera does not accurately depict how stunning this palette is in person. I opened it up and I was like, this is beautiful. Now, is the color story unique? No. Are the blushes like blush shades that I probably don't already own? No, I probably do. You know, like none of this, I didn't need this palette. I didn't need this palette at all. But when I looked at it, I was like, I feel really happy right now. And I just feel like joy. And I just really want this palette. I didn't need it, but I just wanted it. Let me know down below if you have ever had a moment like that with a makeup product where you see it in person and you're just like, I love makeup so much. This is gonna make me so happy if I purchase this. And I just really want it. That was me with this palette. I just felt happiness when I saw it in person. I don't know, that's kind of weird to say, but I just felt so happy when I saw it in person, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is just, it's beautiful. And so I bought it. It does retail for $55, which at first I was like, man, that's kind of a lot, you know what I mean? However, you are getting 10 eyeshadow shades and 2 blushes. So depending on the brand that you choose to go with, if you were to buy like a 10-pan eyeshadow palette and then a blush duo or 2 individual blushes, it probably would equate to $55 or more. Total disclosure, anything like that, I did get my 25% off. I do get a Ulta employee discount, and it's 25% off. So I did not pay the $55, but I think I ended up paying, like with tax and everything, like maybe $45 or something like that. I'm so glad that I did. I did already use it once. I couldn't wait. I could not wait. In case you haven't noticed, I've been doing quite a few eyeshadow palette reviews on my channel recently. I reviewed the Pat McGrath new Bronze Borealis Quad. I also reviewed her like Mega Mothership Celestial Odyssey palette and the Glam Light Wine palette. So I've acquired quite a few palettes recently, and I've just been using them in a lot of videos, but I couldn't wait for this video to dive into this palette. So I did already use it once. I'm gonna pop up a picture here of the look that I made, but I actually did go ahead and use this palette in my RCMA liquid foundation review. If you missed that video, again, I can have a link down below. I'm linking like all sorts of videos down below for you today in case you missed them. But you can see in that video, I do like a 9-hour wear test on that foundation. And you can see by the end of the video, my eyeshadow looks bomb. Like, it still looks bomb. It did not fade, it did not fluff off, it did not get patchy. It looks so good still, like 9+ hours in. So that was a look that I made, and it was the only time that I had tried this palette. So I'm super excited to dive in and try it again today for you guys. So we're gonna do some swatches, and then I'm going to do an eye look. I have no idea if this video will even do well on my channel, because at this point this palette is considered old. It's old news, and it's been out for like a month. So I don't know if this is even gonna like do well on my channel, if you guys even care, but like I am so excited about it, and I think it's so stunning that I really wanted to come on, do swatches and eye look and review it for you guys. So let's get into the swatches. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the top row and then the bottom row, and then I will do the 2 blushes as well. So the top row, the first shadow is called Rose Water. Ooh, that's a beautiful shift from like gold to a rosy pinky sort of shade. That's like unique. I like that a lot. Then the next shade is Honey. I'm gonna build that up. This is actually a really beautiful shade on the eye. Like I said, I used it in my first look, and it doesn't really look like much in that swatch right there, but it really is a beautiful, just neutrally brown transition shade. Then we have Sparkling Amber. So as you can see, these are pretty chunky of shimmers. They do kind of have fallout on my hand, which they will have that on your face as well. So I definitely think Stephanie Babs Beauty was correct. You should do your eyes first when using this palette, but I typically do that anyway, so that doesn't really bother me. Next up, we have Primrose, which is like a beautiful, like taupey purpley shade, and if you can see, it's got a ton of little micro glitters in it. I'm not gonna lie, I usually don't like mattes with shimmers in it like this one, but that does look really pretty. I think I am going to try to use that shadow today. I didn't use it my first time using this palette, so we'll probably try it out today and see what it looks like on the eyes. And then lastly, on the first row is Mango. Again, I'm going to build that swatch up. That's just a really beautiful, like, I don't know, dreamsickly orangey sort of mangoey matte. It's stunning. So here's the first row, a little bit closer up for you. Alrighty, starting on the second row, the first shade is called Peony. Another really beautiful, like shifting sort of duochrome shade. Look at that shine, that is stunning. Then we have Rouge, a little bit deeper of a matte brown. I'm gonna build that up a little bit. Then we have Fire Opal. Oh, that's stunning. Oh my goodness. Next up we have Deep Berry. Ooh, that actually swatched pretty well for a deep dark matte like that. I am gonna build it up. That's like a really pretty shade because it's almost like burgundy but berry, but like deep and dark. It has a hint of brown but hint of red. That's like a pretty unique shade, I feel like. And then lastly we have Claret. Another pretty deep dark matte, but I feel like both of those are needed in the palette for sure. So here's the second row, a little bit closer up for you. Then I'm gonna attempt to swatch the blushes for you. I know blushes are way less pigmented than eyeshadow, so I don't really know like how well it'll show up on my hand, but the first one we have is called Grapefruit. Let me build that swatch up. So this is actually the blush that I was also using in that RCMA liquid foundation review. And the second one is Saddle. This is a little bit deeper of a blush, clearly, as you can see. I feel like I'm gonna be able to use this. I'll probably end up having to mix them, honestly, with like 1 tap of Saddle and then like 4 or 5 taps of Grapefruit because I am so fair, but this is still a very beautiful, like burnt orangey sort of shade. I'm gonna try to use both of these today just to kind of show them in action, but those are the 2 blushes. Here's them a little bit closer for you as well. They're both really, really beautiful. I realized I forgot to show you the box that it came in. So sorry about that. So it comes in this box right here. It's honestly very similar to the actual palette. And then on the back, it has all of the ingredients and the picture of the palette as well. It is made in the USA and it does have a 12-month shelf life. Also, the packaging, like I said, is exactly the same as the box. It's a really, I like it. I like this more than their suede packaging. It's just like a really nice, soft, light, pinky kind of tan sort of shade. It does have a magnetic closure. And like I said, when you open it up, this is the palette a little bit closer for you. Sorry, I just now am showing you at this point in the video. And then here is the back as well. It comes with a sticker with a little bit of information. So we're gonna start on an eye look. I think I'm going to go ahead and start off with Mango right here, and we're going to put that into my crease. I did go ahead and prime my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot and my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder. Ooh, it's a really pretty shade. I will say there is quite a bit of kick up in the pan. So here is Mango right here after I dipped in with my brush. I mean, these are very soft mattes and pretty loosely pressed shimmers, but honestly, that's pretty on par with ABH shadows from my experience. I have quite a bit of her palettes back here, if you can see. I got all of these on sale, I want you to know, at least like 50% off, and then the Norvina was actually given to me by a friend. So I feel very proud of my little ABH collection because I did not pay full price for like any of them. So that's exciting. But I feel like that is pretty on par with their other shadows for sure from my experience. Their mattes are pretty loosely pressed and very, very pigmented, and their shimmers they have a lot of fallout. They're very loosely pressed as well, and they are impactful and beautiful on the eyes, but they do have a lot of fallout. So like I said, I would do your eyes first, and I definitely would use some sort of glitter primer, glitter glue. You guys know I'm gonna be using my NYX one. I always use that. So this Mango shade is beautiful. It is a beautiful dreamsicle-y, creamsicle? Sort of like orangey shade. It is stunning. It's blending out really, really pretty as well. It's not getting patchy or anything like that. It's layering up on itself really nicely as well. So yeah, that's beautiful. I am gonna put a tiny bit more. This is a third layer, but a third light layer. Alrighty, next up I'm going to take Primrose right here, and we are going to put that on the outer corner and up into our crease as well. We'll see how this looks with the shimmers. I did go ahead and tap off my brush. The only other brand I know who really has these mattes with shimmers in it is ColourPop. I'm sure other brands do it as well. I know e.l.f. does it too. But usually when you tap off your brush like I do before I apply really any of my eyeshadows, the shimmers tend to fall off and go away, which I personally enjoy about that. And it seems like that definitely happened here with the ABH shadow as well. I don't really see any shimmers on my eyes, which I like that. So we're just going to put this up into our crease. I know it's a little interesting to combine purple and orange, but I don't know, I feel like it's working out pretty well. The shadow is getting a little bit patchy on me, but that normally happens in my inner corner here. And also, purples are hard. So if you saw my Glam Light Wine Palette video, you know purples are hard. They are hard to work with, they're hard to formulate, but I don't know, this is actually a really beautiful shade. It's pretty interesting of a shade. It is definitely purple, but it's a little bit like mauve-y. It's not too deep and dark either. I really like this shade, that's really pretty. I'm gonna go back in with Mango and really mesh these together. And then we are gonna deepen out the outer corner a tiny bit with Deep Berry here. I have not used this shade yet. I don't want it to be too deep, so I'm only gonna put a little bit on, a little bit more than that. Oh, perfect, that's exactly what I wanted it to do. I feel like I need better, smaller, like detail brushes. If you guys have any recommendations, please let me know. I know Refer brushes are like really, really huge. A lot of people like those brushes. I personally haven't ever tried them, but I don't know, I feel like I need to. I go back in with Primrose. Anyways, I just kind of like stopped my thought process there. I feel like I don't have a lot of like really small, good detail sort of brushes. So I need more in my life. Alrighty, now that we have all of the mattes blended out, I do want to go in with a shimmer on the lid. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to use Fire Opal, which is like this really beautiful orangey shade. I have no idea how this will look with the purple mattes, but I feel like it'll bring out that orangey mango shade really nicely. So I am going to take my NYX glitter primer. We're going to put it on the inner half of my lid. The Fire Opal shade, when I was swatching it, looked like definitely the most crumbly of all of the mattes. So I would definitely go in with some sort of tacky base to help it stick. And I'm only going to tap in a tiny bit. Like I just went tapped in. I didn't even rub my finger all in there because yeah, definitely pigmented, definitely impactful without putting too much on your finger, and that'll help with less fallout if you don't have as much product on your finger. I am going to go with a little bit of Peony here just to like tone it down a tiny bit, mesh it a little bit better with the purple matte. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. I like that fiery orange shade, that Fire Opal. It is like a really pretty Oh, I like that a lot. Okay, I am gonna go back in with Primrose, the sparkly purple matte. Sparkly matte, that doesn't make sense, but you guys know what I mean. We're just going to re-emphasize it here. And then a little bit more of that mango shade to really bring out the orange. Okay, I like it. I like it. It's a little different for me. I usually would not pair together orange and purple eyeshadows, but I think it's pretty. That mango shade, there's something about that orangey sort of matte crease shade that I'm loving. But yeah, I'm really liking. As you can see, I definitely did get some fallout, but that's okay. I really am liking this look. I am going to go ahead and do the other eye off camera. I am going to add a brown wing liner. I think I haven't fully decided. You'll see when I come back. Then I am going to do foundation, concealer, powder, bronzer, highlight, and then we will come back on and do blush and lower lash line together. So be right back. Alrighty, I am back for lower lash line and blush. So I'm gonna do a really simple lower lash line, and all I'm gonna do is run that mango shade, the orangey crease shade we used, along my whole lower lash line. Alrighty, next for blush, I am gonna try to use both of the shades. I'm gonna start off with Saddle, and then we're going to kind of like tone it down with Grapefruit, because I'm sure Saddle's gonna be pretty intense. So I'm gonna go in with one little like boop. I did tap off the excess. So that's pretty pigmented, as you can see. And it is kind of like sticking a little bit. Chunky boy. What are you doing? Him says, oh, you were doing an ABH palette review? Let me go check out your other ABH palettes, Mom. Okay, anyways, it is sticking, I feel like, a little bit to my foundation, but you guys, not that this video is about this foundation at all, but I tried the RCMA foundation again for the third time today. I cannot make this work. I don't know what is going on with me in makeup recently, but I'm like struggling so hard with that foundation just looking really bad on me. So it's kind of like sticking a little bit. I have not dipped back in. I'm just kind of, are you even listening to me, or are you just watching my cat? You're probably just watching my cat, if I'm being honest. If I was you watching this video, I would just be like, cat, look at that cute cat. Butterscotch, what are you doing, baby? Are you being distracted? Are you the star of the show now? Butterscotch's makeup bag. Okay, bye. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's do one more little boop, and let's try this cheek. That is pigmented. I just don't think that this blush is maybe made for someone like of my skin tone, which is totally fine. I totally understand them having two blush, options in the palette, one for lighter skin tone, one for deeper skin tone. So I feel like I'm definitely going to maybe have to use this as more of a eyeshadow shade. Woo! I look like a clown. Okay, that's pretty intense. Let's try to stamp this down with my powder brush. I actually don't think, should I put Grapefruit over it? I mean, that is a really pretty shade. It's just a little too deep for my personal skin tone, but it is really pretty. I mean, once I stamp it out and make it look a little less intense, I do really like the tone of it. Okay, to go ahead and wipe off my brush, I am going to go into Grapefruit just to try to like tone this down a tiny bit. I just did one little boop again. Okay, is that toning it down? I don't know. Him's back. Him's gone again. Okay, so these blushes, they're pigmented. They're pigmented. Be careful. Be careful, especially if you are very fair like myself. Like I said before, I did use just Grapefruit in my foundation review video, and it looked very, very beautiful on my skin. So I think Grapefruit is the way to go. I don't think this looks bad. I just think it looks pretty intense on my cheeks, and I am someone who likes a lot of blush. Like, I am a blush gal. I love blush. But even this is just a little intense. I think Saddle will work out maybe a little bit better for me when I'm a little bit tanner, like next summer. These eyes, man, they are reminding me a lot of Halloween with the orange and the purple and all of that. But I like it. It's a different eye look for me for sure, but it's pretty. Anyways, we're talking about the blushes, Emily, focus. So yeah, the blushes are pigmented. They are very pretty though. They don't really have much of a sheen to them. They are both matte blushes, which I don't mind. But yeah, that is them on my cheeks. I am gonna go do mascara and setting spray. I think it's the only thing I have left. Then I'll come back on and wrap up the video. Be right back. We are back. Makeup is complete. You guys know the drill by now, considering this is like my 4th eyeshadow palette review on my channel in like 2 weeks. All the other makeup I use will be listed and linked down below in the description box in case you are curious. So, do you need this palette? No, you definitely don't. However, I guess my whole point in making this video is to let you know, maybe don't judge this palette too harshly before you actually see it in person. Because if you're like me and you saw pictures of this and videos of this and you were like, it's just fine, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need it. You don't, but maybe just don't judge it too hard until you see it in person, because in person, I'm telling you, the camera like does not do it justice at all. It doesn't pick up how beautiful these shades are. Butterscotch. I was like, Mom, I don't care that you are filming. I'm gonna make all the noise. I was playing with my Ipsy box that I haven't thrown away yet. But the camera just doesn't even pick up just how beautiful these shades are, how beautiful the mattes are. They're just really rich. And then the shimmers, while they are a little chunky and you are gonna get some fallout, as long as, like I said, you do your makeup first and use some sort of tacky base, I really do think that you will enjoy this palette if you decide to pick it up. I don't think this blush is for me. I mean, you saw in the application process that it was a little deep and dark, but mixing the two of them together made a really beautiful blush shade that goes really nicely with this eye look. Is this my favorite eye look I've ever done? No. I did definitely like the first eye look that I made with this palette more, that I popped up the picture of earlier, but I do think it is really pretty. These shimmers are very impactful on the lids and beautiful. The mattes blended out nicely. They didn't get too patchy or anything. I don't know. I just think this is a nice palette. $55 is a lot of money, but the Sephora sale is coming up, so you can definitely pick it up for 10, 15, or 20% off. Save you some money, but I do think this is a nice little compact palette. The 10 shades that you get, you can make very full, complete eye looks out of, and then the 2 blushes are stunning. You can also use these as eyeshadows if you want. That's probably how I'll mainly use Saddle. This review is pretty late. You guys probably maybe don't care about this anymore, but like I said, I really wasn't in a rush to get this particular palette video up for you guys because there's been a lot. It's been out for a while, and I figured the other palettes I reviewed earlier on my channel were just a little bit more important. But I still wanted to get a video on this out for you guys just to show you my thoughts, tell you I picked it up, tell you that I really am loving it. The shades are just stunning. There's just something, there's just something about these shades that I just was, I needed in my life. And I have not regretted picking this up. I'm so excited to keep playing with it, to keep using it and all of that. So let me know down below, do you have your eye on this palette? I mean, like I said, it launched a while ago. It is a little funky with the blushes on the side, but let me know, do you have your eye on this? Are you gonna pick it up? I want to know down below. Other than that, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome. I love you. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye, guys.